Okay, so let's start our discussion. Chapter 4, last chapter prior to midterm. And so let's discuss acid-base equilibrium and solubility equilibrium. Okay, so this is a very lengthy chapter. So we have lots of subtopics to discuss here. So ito yung mga yon. So today we will try to cover up to here. Okay, so we will try to cover 4 subtopics prior to your teka lang, ayaw gumana ng pencil ko. Wala, wait lang. Ayun. Okay, gumagana na siya. Wait lang, restart ko ha. Okay. So again, this is a very lengthy chapter. So around 3 days to bago natin ma-complete. So hopefully by Monday next week tapos natin to, no? Okay. So these are the following topics that we are going to cover. No? For today, ito yung madidiscuss natin. Definition of acids and bases, the acid-base properties of water, strengths of acid and bases, and lastly, acid and base equilibrium constant. No? So, for this topic, kailangan ko ng idea na sa ice table. So, hopefully marunong na kayo. Then for the next session, we will cover this 3 topics: acid-base equilibrium calculation and techniques, diprotic and triprotic acid, and buffer solutions. No? And hopefully by Monday next week, ma-cover na natin si solubility equilibria and the common ion effect and solubility of salts. Okay? So let's cover the first 4 topics now. So let's talk about acids and bases. Okay? If you are asked to describe acids and bases, most likely your answers will fall under the following characteristics. No? So pag sinabing acid, usually people characterize it as maasim, which is true naman. No? Acids are sour. No? One example would be the acetic acid sa suka, maasim yon. Ano pa? Mga prutas, they contain citric acid, even ascorbic acid na iniinom natin, mga vitamins, maasim sila, di ba? Because acids, yun yung characteristic nila. Maasim talaga sila generally. But when it comes to reaction, we should be familiar that acids produce hydrogen gas when reacted to metals. So, itong reaction na yan, pinakita ko yan last semester sa video ng chemical reactions. Ako yung nandun. So, pinakita ko sa video na yon that when you drop zinc metal into your acid solution, it forms bubbles of hydrogen gas. Okay? So, yun. When metals react with acid, they produce hydrogen gas. And also, when you react your acids with carbonates or bicarbonates, they produce carbon dioxide gas. One example is yung baking soda and yung suka. Pag pinaghalo mo yan, what will happen? Magbabubbles, no? Because carbonates and bicarbonates are unstable in acidic media. So what happens is that carbon dioxide is evolved during the reaction. Okay. So yan. So yan yung characteristic ng acid. Maasim sila. They produce hydrogen gas when reacted with metals, and they produce carbon dioxide when reacted with carbonates or bicarbonate ions. For bases naman, they have this characteristic na bitter sila, mapait, no? So, an example niyan, yung mga ampalaya, mga gulay, 'di ba? Sometimes they have this bitter taste, 'di ba? Okay, so the reason why they are bitter sa taste is that they contain organic molecules that are basic in characteristics, no? Especially mga natural products natin, yung mga natural molecules from the plants, no? Basic sila usually. Okay, so mapait sila. And then also bases feel slippery when touched, no? So pag hinawakan mo sila, madulas. Okay, one example would be the soap, yung ating sabon sa bahay. Historically, that is made from animal fat and ano, animal fat and caustic soda or sodium hydroxide. So pinaghahalo lang 'yon, sodium hydroxide pati yung fats ng animal. Pag pinaghalo mo 'yon, magiging sabon yan. Okay. So actually, I'm doing this, no? Gumagawa ako ng sabon sa bahay. Although for personal, ano lang, wala lang. Pag wala akong magawa sa bahay, gagawin ko, kukuha ko liquid sosa. Liquid sosa is sodium hydroxide. Liquid sosa, tas mantika. Pag haluin mo yon, pag i-mix mo yon later on, pag tumigas yon, sabon na yon. Okay? So, ganun lang kadali gumawa ng sabon. Okay? So, yan. So, again, these are the two characteristic of acids and bases. However, sa chemistry, you are not allowed to taste any chemicals. No? Hindi mo pwede tikman lahat ng mga chemicals na ginagawa mo. Number one, hazard. No? Health hazard yan. Mamaya, ma-hospital ka pa. No? Sasagutin ka pa ng school. So, dapat, we should be able to distinguish acids and bases not because of their taste, no, but because of their structure na lang. Okay? So, ang gagawin natin ngayon is that we will check how will we define acids and bases without tasting them. Okay? So, hindi natin sila pwede tikman always. No? Kailangan malaman natin sino yung acid, sino yung base by just looking at the formula or by just looking at the chemical reaction. Okay? So, there are three definitions of acid that is useful to for us to determine which is which, no? Sino yung acid, sino yung base, no? So, there are three definitions that will help us, no, to identify them. Actually, marami to. So, there's around 10 definitions of acids and bases, but for the purpose of for the purpose of basic chemistry knowledge, etong tatlo lang di-discuss natin. No? Sandamukal pa yan. Pero yung tatlong di-discuss natin are the following: Arrhenius definition, the Bronsted-Lowry definition, and the Lewis definition. Okay, so let's begin with the Arrhenius definition. Okay. Arrhenius definition was given to you last semester, no, sa inorganic chem nyo. So according to Arrhenius, an acid is a substance that increases the concentration of a hydronium ion or proton when it dissociates. So that means acids are substances whose cation is proton or H+, hydronium ion. Okay. So ano yung mga yon? For example, HCl. Okay. So yan. Acid yung mga yon. When their protons are hydronium ion. Okay. So kapag sinabi naman daw base, according to Arrhenius, these are substances, no, na ini-increase nila yung concentration ng OH- or hydroxide ion when it dissociates, no. So yan. So yun yung basic definition lang niya. According to Arrhenius, again, kapag acid, ang cation ay H+. Kapag ang base, ang kanyang anion ay OH-. And when they dissociate, they increase the concentration of H+ or OH-. Okay? So, ganun. So, we have some basic examples here. So, for example, HCl, when it dissociates, it produces hydronium ion and chloride ion. Okay? So, naglalabas siya ng H+ and Cl-. Since it produces H+ ions, yan ay acid according to Arrhenius. Basta may H+ na maproduce, acid yan according to Arrhenius. Pag base naman, so one example is sodium hydroxide. No? So itong sodium hydroxide, when it dissociates, it produces sodium ions and hydroxide anions. No? Okay. So since may OH tayong na-produce from your base yan. Okay? So yun lang yung gusto ni Arrhenius. Pag may H+, acid. Pag may OH, base. Okay? So very simple. However, since lumalawak na yung understanding natin ng chemistry by that time, we need to level up this definition na. Kailangan natin baguhin yung Arrhenius definition kasi there are acid-base reaction that do not show the production of H+ nor the production of OH-. No? So may mga ganung acid-base reaction na hindi pinapakita na nagkakaroon ng H+ or OH-. So ano yung mga yon? Okay. So, nilevel up na natin to Bronsted-Lowry definition. So, ito yung sumunod na definition. So, si Bronsted pati si Lowry, dalawa yung chemist, no? Pero sila yung nag-discover ng ganitong idea. According to them, acids are proton donors and bases are proton acceptors, no? So as you can see, there is a resemblance to Arrhenius definition wherein yung acids daw ay proton donor. Yun din yung sabi ni Arrhenius. Acid, sila yung nag-i-increase ng H plus ng protons. No? Okay, so ibig sabihin, they donate the protons. Okay? However, the change dito is yung kay base. No? Instead of defining bases as hydroxide donors, Bronsted-Lowry use this sentence na lang. Sabi niya, bases sila yung mga proton acceptor. Okay, so yun na lang yung ginawa niyang definition. So ang point of view ni Bronsted and Lowry ay yung protons. Kung sino yung mawawala ng proton, siya yung acid. Kung sino yung tatanggap ng proton, siya yung base. Okay? So this is broader definition. Okay? Kasi mas marami itong applications compared to Arrhenius definition. Okay, so let's look at some examples here. We have this. We have HCl plus H2O, and it will produce hydronium ions and chloride ions. Okay, so yan. From this equation, which one is the acid and which one is the base? No? So, tignan natin. Ipag-pair natin yung ating substances. No? So, yung HCl, naging Cl minus yan pagdating sa product side. No? So, what happened kay HCl? It lost a proton. Okay. So, since yung HCl natin, it lost a proton, that means HCl is a Bronsted-Lowry acid. Okay, so siya ay Bronsted-Lowry acid because pagdating sa product side, Cl minus na lang siya. Nabawasan siya ng isang H. Okay. How about H2O? Pagdating sa product side, what happened is that naging H3O plus siya. Naging hydronium ion siya. So, what happened? Nadagdagan siya ng proton. Or in other terms, it accepted the proton. Pag yan ay nag-accept ng proton, yan ay tinatawag nating Bronsted-Lowry base. Okay? So, ganun lang. Ang gagawin mo para malaman mo kung siya ay Bronsted-Lowry acid or base is just look at what happened sa reaction. I-track mo ano nangyari sa kanya. For example, HCl. Pagdating sa product side, Cl minus na lang siya. Ibig sabihin, nabawasan siya ng proton. Therefore, Bronsted-Lowry acid. Kunwari H2O, tignan mo, pagdating sa product side, naging H3O siya. Nadagdagan ng isang proton, ng isang H. So, ibig sabihin nun, siya ay Bronsted-Lowry base. How about the other one sa baba? We have HCl and H3 producing ammonium chloride. Okay. So, what happened to HCl? Naging Cl minus siya. Okay? So, naging Cl na lang siya. It lost a proton. Therefore, we can consider it as Bronsted-Lowry acid. Okay, how about NH3, ammonia? After the reaction, it turned into NH4+. Naging ammonium ion siya. Nadagdagan siya ng H. So, we can define this as a Bronsted-Lowry base. So, as you can see, wala tayong nakitang OH. Yet, this reaction is acid-base reaction. Okay? Wala tayong nakitang OH, pero still, pwede natin malaman kung sino yung base by just determining which of the two molecules accepted the proton donated by the acid. Okay? So, ganun lang. Okay, so let's take a look at some more examples. So we have here ammonia reacting in water to produce ammonium ion and hydroxide anion. Of the two reactants, sino yung acid, sino yung base according to Bronsted-Lowry definition? So, tignan mo lang ano nangyari sa kanila. Si ammonia, pagdating sa product side, it turned into ammonia. Ammonium ion. Okay? So, yung ammonia naging ammonium ion. Ano yung nangyari? Nadagdagan siya ng isang H. So, since it accepted the H, so since siya yung tumanggap ng H, we can classify NH3 as the Bronsted-Lowry base. Nadagdagan siya ng H pagdating sa product side. So, siya is a Bronsted-Lowry base. So, that also means that water, ano nangyari kay water? Yung H2O, naging OH na lang. Nabawasan ng isang H. So, we can tell from this reaction that water is a Bronsted Lowry acid. Okay? So, yun. So, ganun lang. By the way, since may tawag tayo sa mga species sa reactant, di ba, tawag natin sa reactant either acid or base sila, may tawag din daw sa products according to Bronsted Lowry definition. Okay. Ang tawag sa products ay conjugate acid and conjugate base. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, they are derived from your reactants. No? Kaya conjugate, derived sila from the original substance. Okay. So, sino dito yung conjugate acid? Sino dito yung conjugate base? Okay. So, ganito. Sabi ni Bronsted Lowry, kapag yung base mo daw na-convert into product, it is now called the conjugate acid. Okay? So, yun yung sabi ni Bronsted Lowry. Yung base daw, pag na-convert into product, ang tawag doon ay conjugate acid. Okay? And yung acid mo daw, kapag na-convert into product, it will turn into a conjugate base. Kasi if the reverse reaction happened, kapag bumaliktad yung reaction natin, remember, equilibrium yan, pwede yan bumalik pa ganon. Pwede yan umatras, di ba? Pag reverse reaction yung nangyari, ito naman daw yung magdo-donate ng proton sa base. Okay. Okay, so ganun. Reverse yung roles naman nila kapag reverse reaction yung mangyayari. That's why yung base, pag napunta yun sa product side, tawag doon ay conjugate acid. Yung acid, pag napunta yun sa product side, conjugate base. No? So they switch roles pagdating sa product side. Okay? So nagpapalit sila ng role. So ganun lang. So let's look at some more examples. We have acetic acid and methylamine. It is in equilibrium with acetate ion and methylammonium ion. Of the four species, sino yung acid, sino yung base, sino yung conjugate acid, sino yung conjugate base. Okay. So one way to tell is just tignan mo yung molecule, ano yung nagbago. Tignan natin yung acetic acid. So we started with an acid, pagdating doon, naging acetate ion na lang siya. What's the difference? Nabawasan siya ng isang proton. Since acetic acid lost proton, it is called the Bronsted Lowry acid. So, Bronsted Lowry acid siya. So, kung acid to, pagdating sa product side, ano tawag sa kanya? Ano tawag sa acetate ion? Ito ay yung conjugate base natin. Okay? So, kung acid yan sa reactant, pagdating sa product side, tawag sa kanya ay conjugate base. Conj nilang nilalagay ko. Nakakatamad eh. Conjugate, ayan yung spelling. Conjugate or conj base. How about dimethylamine? So, since ito yung acid, ito dapat yung base, no? Siya si Bronsted Lowry base. Tignan mo rin ano nangyari sa kanya pagdating sa product side. So, dalawa yung hydrogen kay nitrogen. Pagdating dito, tatlo na. So, it accepted the proton of the acid. So, Bronsted Lowry base nga siya. So, kung base tawag dito, ano tawag dito? Sa kapartner niya sa kabila. Yun ay conjugate acid. Okay? Okay, bakit uli nagsiswitch ng role? Kasi, just in case na mag-flip yung reaction, ito na yung magdodonate ng proton papunta dito kapag pabaliktad na yung reaction. Okay. So, siya na yung magiging acid, ito na yung magiging base. Okay. Pero kapag forward reaction, switch yung role nila. So, ito yung acid, ito yung base. Okay. So, ganun lang. How about this one? We have acetic acid. We have acetate ion. We have water and hydronium ion. So I want you to identify sino yung Bronsted Lowry acid. Pwede nyo i-type yung answer sa chat box. Sino ang Bronsted Lowry acid? Look at the reaction carefully. Okay. Na-minimize pa. Sino yung Bronsted Lowry acid? Any idea? Sino ang bronzed lauric acid? Look at the equation. Sino ang bronzed lauric acid? Is it water? Ayan. Bl acid po is acetic acid. Okay, so the acid here is yung acetic acid. Okay? So yung acetic acid yung acid. Okay. So tignan nyo. Kasi pagdating sa reactant, OH yon. Pagdating sa product, O minus na lang. Okay. So ibig sabihin, nabawasan siya ng proton. So this is your acid. And we can call this the conjugate base. Okay? So ganun. Yung counterpart ng acid pagdating sa product side ay conjugate base. So since acid yung since acid yung acetic acid, that makes water the base, no? So yung water na yung ating base, no? Bronzed lauric base. And ang counterpart niya ay yung conjugate acid. Okay? So ganun. Again, paano mo malalaman sino yung acid, sino yung base according to Bronsted-Lowry definition. So one way for you to tell is tignan mo sino yung nabawasan ng H pagdating sa product side. Pag siya yung nabawasan ng H pagdating sa product side, siya yung acid. Kung sino yung nadagdagan ng H sa product side, siya yung base. No? Okay? So ganun lang. Ito, pinakita ko na to kanina. Okay, so yan. So that's the second definition of the acids and bases. Okay, so again, Arrhenius, ano sabi ni Arrhenius? Proton donor. I mean, nag-i-increase ng proton concentration. Pag acid. Pag base, it increases the hydroxide concentration. Pagdating kay Bronsted-Lowry, sabi niya, proton donor yung acid, proton acceptor yung base. The next definition pertains to lone pairs or the electron pair, yung dalawang dots, no? So this is the Lewis definition because there are reactions na hindi mo makikita yung acid-base characteristic instantly. Okay? So this is the definition ni Lewis para malaman mo kung sino yung acid, sino yung base. Okay? Ang basahin natin. Lewis acid is a substance that can accept a pair of electrons. A Lewis base is a substance that can donate a pair of electrons. Okay? So, ano daw? So, sabi dyan, pag Lewis base, electron pair, donor. Pag Lewis acid, electron pair, acceptor. Okay? Electron pair ang usapan, hindi na protons, no? So, paano mo madidistinguish sino yung base, sino yung acid? Ganito lang. Usually, yung iyong base, sila yung may mga lone pair. Okay? Kung sino yung may lone pair, sila yung mga base usually. So, tignan mo itong example natin na to. So, tignan mo. Yung OH, ilang lone pair meron siya? Tatlo. Sa dalawa, tatlo. Pagdating sa product side, ilan na yung lone pair ng OH? Dalawa na lang. Okay? So, dinonate niya yung lone pair. So, ibig sabihin, OH is the base, no? According to Lewis definition. So, we started from 3 lone pairs, naging dalawa na lang pagdating sa product side. So, saan ginamit yung lone pair na yon? When lone pairs are donated to other atoms, they actually form chemical bonds. Remember, last semester, na there are 2 electrons needed to form a chemical bond. So, ang ginagawa ni base, dinodonate niya yung lone pair to create bonds with that atom. Okay? With the acid atom. Okay? Or the acid molecule. O, tignan mo itong acid. Ano yung basis ko dito para malaman ko kung siya ba yung acid? Tinitignan ko kung ilang bonds meron siya. For example, may bonds ba to? Wala. Pero pagdating sa product side, may isa na siyang bond. Saan galing yung isang bond na yon? When your base donates lone pairs. No? Pag dinonate niya yung lone pair, dun nagkakaroon ng bond. So, ibig sabihin, hydrogen here is the acid. Okay? So let's look at this example here from ammonia to ammonium ion. Yung may lone pair again, yun yung isang yun yung isang pwede tignan kung siya ay base, no? So kung titignan mo itong NH3, may isang lone pair yan. Pagdating sa product side, wala na. So ibig sabihin siya yung base kapag nabawasan siya ng lone pair. Saan ginamit yung lone pair na yon? To create chemical bonds with the hydrogen. So pag dinonate niya yung lone pair to hydrogen, nagkakaroon ng bonds with this atom. Okay? So kakabit itong acid sa base mo. Okay? So ganun lang. Although itong Lewis definition, we're not going to use this very much, no. Kasi this is pang BS Chem na madalas yung definition na to. Pero gusto ko pa rin siya i-share sa inyo. Okay. So this is one example pa. So we have boron trifluoride and ammonia. Which one is the acid, which one is the base, no? Kung sino may lone pair, siya yung candidate, no? Siya yung candidate na maging base. Tignan mo. O yung ammonia, may isang lone pair. Pagdating sa product side, wala na. So ibig sabihin, siya yung base. Kasi dinonate niya yung lone pair. Ang tanong, saan niya dinonate? Tignan mo kung sino yung dinugtungan niya. Yung BF3. So as it donates the protons, as it donates the lone pairs to boron, it creates a chemical bond with it. So yan. So since ito tinanggap niya yung electron pair na to, siya yung acid, Lewis acid. Okay? Saan namin to ginagamit sa BS Chem? So ginagamit namin to kapag complexation na, complex reactions na. Yung metals kakabitan siya ng ibang molecules, no. So yan. Doon na namin yung ginagamit. Okay? Pero for our subject, we're good with the Bronsted-Lowry definition na. Sa alam mo kung sino si Bronsted acid, sino yung Bronsted base, sino yung conjugate acid, sino yung conjugate base, you're good to go. Okay? So those are the three basic definitions of acids and bases. Well, let's recall again Arrhenius. Sabi niya, acids are molecules that produces or increases H plus concentration when it dissociates. Bases are substances that increases OH minus concentration when it dissociates. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, H plus, acid, OH minus, base. Arrhenius definition yan. Pero kung wala ka ng OH, gamitin mo na si Bronsted-Lowry definition. Okay? So, sabi ni Bronsted-Lowry, protons ang basis. Pag nag-donate ng proton, acid. Pag tumanggap ng proton, base. Okay? Pag nag-donate ng proton, acid. Pag nag-accept ng proton, base. Then, ano yung tawag sa counterpart ni base? Ang tawag sa kanya, after the reaction ay conjugate acid na. Kasi acid, ano tawag sa kanya after the reaction? Ang tawag na sa kanya ay conjugate base. Okay? So yan, pag kabisado nyo na yan, madali na lang. Madali na lang yung future topics later. Then lastly, Lewis definition. Ano yung basis niya dito? Lone pairs. Kung sino nag-donate ng lone pair, siya yung Lewis base. Kung sino yung tumanggap ng lone pair, siya yung Lewis acid. Okay. So ano yung basis ko ulit dito? Tignan ko lang sino may lone pair. Pag nabawasan lone pair nun, ibig sabihin siya yung base. Pagdating naman sa acid, tinitignan ko sino yung nadagdagan ng bonds. Tignan mo kung sinong molecule yung nadagdagan ng bonds. Siya yung acid. Okay. So, let's go back sa ating mga Bronsted-Lowry stuff. Tignan mo. Yung water, for this example, is a base. Okay? Water is a base. Pagdating sa example naman na ito, acid yung water. O dito, base yung water. So ano ba talaga si water? Acid ba siya o base? Ang sagot ay both. Okay? So let's talk about the acid-base property of water. So what happens is that yung water kasi natin, it undergoes self-ionization, or it is called the autoprotolysis or the auto-ionization of water. So that's why water can act either as an acid or a base, no? So, pwede siya mag-act both ways. No? Ibig sabihin, versatile siya. Kung ano pangangailangan ng reaction, yun yung gagawin niya. Okay? So, this is the reaction of water. So, suppose you have two water molecules. Okay? So, pwede ito, i-donate niya yung proton dito. Okay? So, since this is a proton donor, we can call this a Bronsted acid. Since this one accepted the proton, we can call this the Bronsted base, no? Pero still, parehas na water molecule yan. So, ibig sabihin nun, water can act either as an acid or as a base, no? So, dalawa yung characteristics niya. It goes sa acid or sa base, no? Okay? And that happens at the same time. So, ibig sabihin yung tubig na iniinom natin, it is both acidic and basic at the same time. Okay? So, ganun. So since we have an equilibrium reaction here, so we have H2O plus H2O in equilibrium with H3O plus OH minus, we can simplify this as just this, H2O in equilibrium with H plus and OH. So ibig sabihin yung water, it produces acid and base at the same time. Okay. Since this is an equilibrium equation, we can describe it using equilibrium constant. How do we write equilibrium constant? Equilibrium constant is K equals the concentration of products over the concentration of reactants. We only write species that are in aqueous or gaseous phase. Yun lang isusulat mo. Pag yan ay solid liquid, hindi mo siya isusulat. Okay? So, sino yung species natin on the product side? We have the H plus and the OH minus, both in aqueous phases. So that's why if we write K, that will be equal to the concentration of H plus times the concentration of OH minus. For the numerator, kasi product yan eh. How about the denominator? So for the denominator, liquid water meron tayo. And as I told you, yung water hindi sinasama. Yung liquid, no, hindi sila isasama. So I just write 1. Okay. So you can simplify that as this one. Kc is equal to concentration of H plus times the concentration of OH minus. Since this equilibrium equation is special, kasi kay water lang to nakikita, we call this equilibrium constant the ion product constant of water, or basically Kw. Again, this equation is special kasi kay water lang siya nakikita. Okay? So, ang tawag sa K na to ay Kw, or the ion product constant of water. Okay. At 25 degrees Celsius, Kw, or the product of H plus and OH minus, is equal to 1 times 10 raised to negative 14. Also, when you change the concentrations, your solution could be either acidic, basic, or neutral. So, yan. If your concentration of H plus and OH minus are the same, your solution is neutral. However, kapag mas maraming H plus, acidic yon. Mas maraming OH, basic naman yan. Okay? So from this idea, dito natin nakuha yung pH scale. Okay? Dito natin nakuha yung pH values natin. Okay? By the way, ito yung temperature dependence of the ion product of water, or the ionization constant of water. So, as I told you earlier sa first chapter natin, sabi ko doon that yung temperature, it changes the molarity of your substances because density changes with temperature differences, no? Because of the buoyancy. Okay, so because of differing buoyancy at different temperature, the concentration changes. Therefore, K changes as well. Yung equilibrium constant, nagbabago siya. Okay, so at 20 degrees, the Kw is around 7. Around at 25 degrees Celsius, that's around 1 times 10 raised to negative 14. Okay, so ganun. So yan. So let's try to solve some basic problems muna. Okay? So sagot-sagot muna tayong basic problems. I hope you have your calculator with you as always. Sagutan natin to. What is the concentration of OH minus ions in HCl solution whose hydrogen ion concentration is 1.3 molar? Okay. So given ang H plus concentration, alamin natin yung OH concentration. How? Using the ionization constant of water. So recall that Kw is equals to the concentration of your H plus times the concentration of your OH minus. If you want to determine the OH minus concentration, you divide both sides by H plus para yung OH na lang yung ma-isolate. Okay? So the equation is now this one. Kw over H plus, that will give you OH minus. What's next? Plug in mo na yung numbers. What's Kw? That's 1 times 10 raised to negative 14. Okay? How about H plus? Sabi sa problem, H plus concentration is 1.3. So what is the OH minus concentration? Hindi na yan kaya i-mental. So ikakalculate natin. 1.1 times 10, negative 14, 1.3. So the concentration of OH is 7.69 times 10 raised to negative 15 molar. Okay? So yan yung concentration ng OH. Again, pag concentration, molarity units tayo, ha? And also, affix the units at the end of your calculation. You are not supposed to write units when dealing with equilibrium constant. Pag may susulat yung units, bakit? Hindi sila magka-cancel out kasi baka malito ka pa. Okay? So, ganun talaga. Galing kasi sa thermodynamics to eh. Sa thermodynamics kasi, we do not use units at all. Numbers lang. Okay? Kaya, numbers lang din nilalagay ko dito. Okay? Sa dulo ko na maglagay ng units. Okay? So, ganun lang. Again, pwede mo ba malaman yung concentration ng OH given ng H+? Yes, you use the Kw or the ion product of water. Ganun lang. Ano masasay natin? Is this acidic, basic, or neutral? Tignan mo. Comparing your H plus concentration with OH minus concentration, we can tell that H plus concentration is greater than the OH concentration. So since H plus concentration is greater than OH, yan ay acidic. Okay, sabi dito sa slide na to. Pag mas maraming H plus, acidic. Pag mas onting H plus, basic. Kapag equal, neutral. Okay? So this is one way for us to determine kung yan ay acidic, basic, or neutral. Pero, ang daming sinosolve, no? Ang daming nangyayari. Kaya, na-discover nila yung pH scale. Okay? So, pH is another measure of acidity or basicity of your solution. Remember that pH is equal to the negative logarithm of the concentration of H+. Okay? So, if you have a neutral solution, that means concentration of H plus and OH are equal. So, ibig sabihin nun, the concentration is 1 times 10 raised to negative 7 or the pH is equal to 7. Siguro, tataka kayo, oo nga, pH equals 7 kapag neutral. Pero paano nakuha yun, sir? Ganito lang. So, nakuha yung pH equals 7 as neutral using this assumption na equal sila. Okay, so let me solve for that now. So remember, Kw is the product of H plus and OH minus. Since H plus and OH minus are equal, if we let this as X, dapat X din to. Okay? Kasi equal sila eh. Yun yung assumption natin kapag neutral, di ba? Ito ay equal dito. So kung X ito, X din yon. Okay? So that's Kw equals X times X. Or basically, that's X squared. If you want to solve for the value of X, for the value of H plus concentration, you have to get the square root of Kw. What's the square root of 1 times 10 raised to negative 14? Ano square root niyan? 1 times 10 raised to negative 7. Ayun. If you plug it in to your negative log function, that is exactly equal to 7. So that at neutral solution, we have pH equal to 7 kasi the concentration of H plus and the OH minus ay 1 times 10 raised to negative 7 each. No? Pareha silang ganyan. Okay, that's why pH 7 is the neutral pH. Tapos, tignan nyo naman to. If H plus is greater than OH minus, ibig sabihin nun, mas malaki yung H plus concentration kaysa sa OH. So, ibig sabihin, the value of H plus concentration is greater than this. Whenever your H plus concentration is greater than this, 1 times 10 raised to negative 7, your pH value decreases. Okay? Baka kasi isipin nyo, no, na kapag mataas yung hydronium ion concentration, mataas pH. No. Opposite yung trend nila. Pag tumataas yung H concentration, bumababa yung pH. Bakit? Because of the negative sign in the logarithm function. So kapag may negative sign, opposite yung trend. Okay? So pag tumataas yung H concentration, bumababa yung pH. Pag bumababa yung naglag na ako. Okay. So, kapag bumababa yung H concentration, ano nangyayari sa pH? Tumataas. Okay. So, ganun lang. Opposite yung trend nila. Pag tumataas yung H, bumababa yung pH. Pag bumababa yung H, tumataas yung pH. Okay? So, ganun. Bakit may ganun, sir? Bakit opposite yung trend nila? Because of the formula itself. No? May negative kasi sa harap. No? Pag sa algebra, pag negative yung iyong equation, ibig sabihin, magre-reciprocate yan. Or in other terms, babaliktad yung trend. Okay. So, ganun lang. Ito naman, question, bakit naging 14 yung scale ng pH? Bakit hanggang 14? Okay. So, dahil lang din yun sa KW, sa ionization product ng water. Okay. Remember, pH is negative log H+. Tapos, kwento ko rin last time na POH is the negative log of OH minus, di ba? Kwento ko yan last time, chapter 1. So, yan. Ngayon, balik tayo sa KW. KW is equal to H plus concentration times the OH minus concentration. And that's equal to 1 times 10 raised to negative 14 at 25 degrees Celsius. If you take the negative logarithm of both sides, what happens is that yung product, nag-split sila into two terms. Okay? Kasi according to algebra, log of AB is equal to log A plus log B. They split up. So, ganun din dito. If you take the negative log of this side, it becomes negative log H plus minus log OH minus. Okay? May negative sign kasi may negative yung log natin. Okay? Pero kapag positive yan, log H plus plus log OH yan. Pero kailangan natin ng negative eh. Okay? So, negative log H plus minus log OH minus. So, ganun. Pag kinuha natin yung negative log ng left side. How about the right side? If you take the negative log of this number, what happens is that yung exponent bumababa. Okay? So, yung 14, mapupunta na siya sa baba. Nawala yung negative sign. Bakit? Kasi may negative din tayo sa harap ng log. No? So, pag pinag-multiply mo yung negative 14 sa negative sign, edi positive 14 yun. So, ito yung 14. Ito yung reason bakit ang pH scale natin ay up to 14. Okay, because of the KW. What's negative log H plus? That's pH. What's negative log OH? That's POH. So that means pH plus POH is equal to 14. So dito naggaling yung ating pH scale. Okay. So you can determine the POH by subtracting pH from 14. Okay? Or you can determine pH from by subtracting POH sa 14. No? So, ganun lang. No? So, pwede mo malaman yung value ng isa't isa using this equation. Saan huli galing yan? Sa KW. Okay. So, ganun lang. And let's try to answer some problems. Sagot tayo ng ibang problems. Let's have number 1. The pH of rainwater collected in a certain region in the northeastern United States on a particular day was 4.82. What's the H plus concentration of the rainwater? Na-discuss ko na din to last time. How to solve for the concentration given ang pH? We have to do the antilog. Okay, antilog. The anti-logarithm. So, paano yun uli? Let's recall. pH is equals to negative log of H plus. If you want to get the concentration of H plus, you have to remove the log function. And one way to remove the log function is to use the antilog function. So, paano yun? Ganito. Multiply mo muna both sides by negative 1. Okay? So, that's negative pH equals to the concentration of H plus. Paano yung antilog? Ay, sorry, nakalimutan ko yung log. Paano yung antilog ngayon? So, what we're going to do is that etong both sides ng equation natin, gagawin natin yung exponent ng 10. Okay? Gagawin natin siyang exponent ng 10. So, that means 10 raised to negative pH is equals to 10 raised to log H plus. This term here is the antilog function. Itong term na yan, antilog yan. Okay? Yung 10 raised to log, antilog tawag doon. No? So, ano nangyayari kapag antilog? They cancel out each other, leaving the H plus alone sa side na to. Okay. So, pag nag-cancel out yan, matitira yung H plus na lang. So, H plus is equal to 10 raised to negative pH. Okay? So, since we know pH is equals to 4.82, okay? So, plug in mo lang yan. 4.82. And that's equal to, calculate nyo yan. Di yan kaya ng mental math. Maliban na lang kung BS math tayo. Okay? So, the concentration of H plus for a solution whose pH is 4.82 is 1.51 times 10 raised to negative 5 molar. So, yun yung concentration ng H plus given yung pH. Alam nyo na yan kung paano isolve yan. Let's try the next item. The OH ion concentration of a blood sample is 2.5 times 10 raised to negative 7 molar. What is the pH of the blood? Ito, na-solve nyo na rin to, no? But I will show you 2 ways, no, kung paano to sagutan. One is using the pH plus POH equals 14. The other is using KW. Okay? So, gawin ko muna yung sa pH. Yung pH plus POH equals 14. Let me do that muna. So, since I know my OH concentration, I can solve for the POH. Okay? So, let me solve for that. POH is negative log of OH minus, no? So, that's negative log of, ano ba sabi dito? 2.5 times 10 raised to negative 7. So, what's POH? So, POH is negative log 2.5 times 10, negative 7. So, that's 6.6, no? So, that's the POH. So, paano ngayon yung pH? Recall, pH plus POH equals 14. Diba? So, to get pH, that is just 14 minus POH. Or that's 14 minus 6.6. That's equal to 7.4. So, yun yung pH. No? So, ginawa natin yung OH, convert to POH, then later on, kinuha natin yung pH using this relationship. Okay, so that's the first method. Ano yung next method? Using the KW. Kunwari, given yung OH concentration, kunin mo yung H plus concentration using KW. Okay? So let me write the solution here. So recall Kw is the concentration of H plus times the OH minus. Ang gusto natin H plus. So H plus is equal to Kw over OH minus. Okay? And then plug in mo na yung numbers. What's Kw? 1 times 10 raised to negative 14. What's OH minus? That's 2.5 times 10 raised to negative 7. So if you divide the two numbers, you will get the concentration of H plus. Which is 4 times 10 raised to negative 8. Okay. And since we already know the concentration of H plus, we can get the pH. That's negative log concentration of H plus. Negative log ng 4 times 10 raised to negative 8. And we can solve for it as 7.39 or 7.4. So we still ended up with the same answer. Okay. So I'm showing you the ways to answer this kasi I don't want you to be limited sa iisang solution na ipapakita ko. Kasi even ako, tignan nyo yung mga answer key natin. 'Di ba? Ang dami kong style na pinapakita doon. Minsan may ganito, minsan may iba, no? For example, yung sa elimination ng value ng x. Sa isang section, nag-ano ako, yung elimination, yung ipag-a-add mo yung dalawang equation para yung isang variable matira. So yung ginawa ko sa ibang section, nag-substitute ako, no? Kasi you can answer the problem in many ways naman. No? As long as it is mathematically correct, you will still end up with the same correct answer. Okay? So ganun lang. So I'm giving you the option. You can either use this or that. Okay? Mas maganda na maraming option kaysa sa limited ka lang sa isa. Okay? So, kayo na bahala. Pwede ganito, pwede ganyan. Basta alam nyo na parehas yan. Magbibigay yan ng tamang sagot. Okay? So, ganun lang. So, yan. So, we're done with the acid-base property of water na. So, ngayon, let's proceed to the third subtopic for today. Hindi nyo na malayan, third subtopic na, no? Let's talk about the strength of acids and bases. Okay. So, I'm now familiar kayo. So, since last semester pa, we are telling you na sa problems may mga nakalagay, this is a weak acid, this is a strong acid. Question, paano ko malalaman kung yan ay strong acid or weak acid, strong base or weak base? Ganito lang. There are some criteria na pwede mo magamit to determine if that's a strong or weak acid. Or you can just simply memorize kung anong substances yung strong or weak. Ako, ganun na lang ginawa ko eh. Kinabisado ko na lang to dati. Kung sino yung strong pati weak. Although for your case, pwede nyo naman i-save yung slides na to. Okay? Save nyo na lang kung sino dyan yung strong or weak. Especially itong table. Okay? So yan. So, paano ba nagiging strong and weak yung isang acid or base, no? It has something to do with the electrolytes, no? Na-discuss natin to sa solutions last time. Sabi natin, there are two types of electrolyte solution. One is the strong electrolyte solution, the other is the weak electrolyte solution. Okay? Ano sabi ko doon, ng chapter 1? Strong electrolytes are solution that yung ating ions, yung ating salt, they are fully converted into ions. Now, 100% silang dissociated. So, one example would be the salt. Yung asin, pag nilagay mo yun sa tubig, it fully dissociates. Okay? Pag weak electrolyte naman, these are... bakit may ito? Note completely disa. Not yan, hindi siya E. Wala siyang E dapat. So, kapag weak electrolytes naman, these are substances that are not completely dissociated. Ibig sabihin, hindi agad sila fully dissociated into ions. Okay? So, bakit, no? So, there are some reasons for that para maging weak sila. Una, organic molecules sila. Okay, yung mga organic molecule kasi, they are usually weak electrolytes. No? Especially example yung acetic acid. Ito. Okay. May tinatawag kasing resonance sa organic chemistry, di ba? Naalala nyo yon? Okay. So yung resonance kasi that causes this acid to be weak, no? Kasi stabilized yung ating molecule. So yung H+, medyo hindi siya magdi-dissociate kasi stable yung parent chain niya, yung parent molecule niya is stable. So onti-unti lang siya mag-dissociate because of the stability ng organic molecules na yan. The second reason would be the hydrogen bonding, no? So there are molecules na malakas yung hydrogen bonding. That's why weak acid sila, no? Mamaya pakita ko yung example nun. So ganun lang. Paano mo malalaman kapag weak electrolytes? Generally sila yung mga organic na organic acids, no? Such as acetic acid, ascorbic acid, no? Citric acid. So yan, mga weak acids 'yan. Bakit sila weak? Because of resonance, no? Because of the stability of the molecule. Another reason would be the hydrogen bonding. Siguro malakas masyado yung hydrogen bonding kaya hindi siya makakalas. Okay? Masyadong clingy. Kaya nasakal, no? Hindi siya makatakas. Hindi siya maging ion, no? So kapag strong electrolyte naman, basta malaki yung electronegativity difference. Yun, strong electrolyte yun. Okay? So here are some examples. So for strong acids, they are strong electrolytes. So the following are the strong acids. We have hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, perchloric acid, and sulfuric acid. No? Okay. So take note that for each reaction, isang proton yung nababaklas. No? So for HCl, nabawasan siya ng isang H. HNO2, nabawasan siya ng isang H. Ito, nabawasan isang H. And ito, isang H lang yung nabawas. Okay? So take note, yung sulfuric acid, yung first proton, yung strong. Okay? Yung unang proton na natanggal, yun yung strong. Bakit? Kasi itong HSO4, pwede pa ito mag-dissociate, pero weak acid na siya. Ito na siya, HSO4-. Okay? So, ganun. Kasi dalawa yung protons ng H2SO4. Yung isa doon, strong acid. Yung isa, weak acid na. No? Because of resonance. No? Ganun. So, yan. So, ito, weak acid or weak electrolytes. So, maraming factors dyan. Pwedeng organic or pwede yung hydrogen bonding. One example is HF. No? So, ito yung strongest hydrogen bond so far. So, yan. Medyo clingy yung H pati F, kaya hindi sila nagbe-break na. Okay, so water din. Kasi hydrogen bonding yan. Okay. So weak lang yan. And here are some other examples pa. Kapag bases naman, strong yung base kapag siya ay strong electrolytes, no? Generally naman, yung mga ionic compounds na base, no? Strong base sila usually. Such as sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, barium hydroxide. Pero may mga ionic compound na base na hindi siya strong, no? For example, yung mga precipitates, no? So yung mga precipitates na yung copper hydroxide, no? Iron hydroxide, base pa rin sila pero weak base sila, no? Okay? So yun yung i-discuss natin sa solubility. Okay? So ganun. Again, strong bases, generally, ito yung mga inorganic compounds, no? Except precipitates, no? Hindi kasama yung mga precipitate dito. Okay, so yan. Ito, here are some other examples of weak bases pa. Ito yung reverse lang ng reaction dito. Okay. So, ganun. Also, ganito. In water, the strongest acid that can exist is the hydronium ion or H+. Yun yung strongest acid na pwede mag-exist. And the strongest base that can exist is the OH-. Also, the conjugate base of a strong acid has no measurable strength na. So, pag strong acid yan, yung conjugate base, hindi na siya masyadong nagko-contribute sa equilibrium. Okay. So, to summarize this, ito yung table ng ating acid and base. Diyan natin makikita yung strengths nila. So, pwedeng pwede kabisaduhin yan, pwedeng hindi, kayo bahala. O pwede nyo rin naman i-save yan sa phone nyo, yung picture. Okay? So, up to you yan ha. Kaya na bahala kung kakabisaduhin yan. Okay. So, anyway, punta tayo dito. So again, as I told you earlier, strong acids are strong electrolytes. That means they are fully dissociated upon the completion of the reaction. So looking at this graph here, initially we have HCl. Pagdating sa product side, naging ions na siya completely. Why? Kasi strong acid strong electrolyte yan. Compare that with your weak acid. For example, hydrofluoric acid. Look at what happened. Initially, you have complete concentration ng HF. Pero, after the reaction, tignan nyo, mas marami pa ring HF kaysa sa H plus pati F minus. No? Okay? So, ganun. So, ito yung question. Paano mo ma-compute yung concentration ng H plus? Kapag strong acid, you can compute for the concentration of H plus or Cl minus using stoichiometry. Pwede mo na i-stoic na lang to kapag strong acid yan. Okay? Using stoichiometry, pwede mo malaman itong amounts nilang dalawa. Pero, kapag yan ay weak acid, what happens? It equilibrates. And since our system equilibrates, we have to solve for the equilibrium concentration using the ice table. Okay? So again, kapag strong acid, stoic. Kapag weak acid, weak base, equilibrium concentration yan. Or equilibrium calculation. Gagamit na tayo ng ice table para malaman yung amounts nila at equilibrium. Okay? So yun lang yung subtle difference. No? Actually, hindi siya subtle kasi ang laki ng difference pala. No? So again, kapag strong yung iyong acid, strong yung base, stoic na lang yan. No? Pero kapag yan ay weak, mag-ano ka pa, mag-ice stable ka pa. Okay? So paano mo malalaman kung kailan ka gagamit ng ice stable? Alamin mo kung acid mo ay strong or weak. No? You can use the list here. Nilista ko na naman yung mga common na ginagamit natin. Pwede nyo i-check doon. Ay, andito siya sa base. So, mag-ice stable ako. Okay? So, ganun. So, let's have some few examples. Number 1, what is the pH of a 2 times 10 raised to negative 3 molar nitric acid solution? Ano to? Ice stable or stoic? Alamin mo muna, is nitric acid a strong or weak acid? So, gagawin mo, tingin ka dito sa list na binigay ko sa inyo. Nitric acid, nasa strong siya, HNO3. So, ibig sabihin, I can solve for this problem using stoichiometry lang. Okay? Let's answer that. So, using stoichiometry, pwede ko malaman yung pH ng solution. I can determine the H plus concentration. So, I will write the reaction here. Yung HNO3 that will fully dissociate into H plus and NO3 minus. Itong H plus yung kailangan ko para makuha yung pH. Okay. So, since we start with this concentration of the acid, stoichiometrically, okay, so using stoic, pwede natin malaman that the concentration of H plus is the same as the concentration of nitric acid. Okay. And that is also the same as the concentration of nitrate ion. Okay? So using stoic, pwede mo malaman na ito, ang concentration nito equal yan dito and doon. Paano? Tignan mo lang yung coefficients. Kung 1:1 yan, ibig sabihin same lang sila ng amount. Okay? What if kunwari may 2 dito? Dito times 2 mo pa to. Okay? Kunwari may 2 na coefficient dyan, ito times 2 mo yung concentration doon. Okay? So basic stoic lang yan. Okay, so ganun na. Kunwari, may 3 dito. Dito times 3 mo pa yon. So depending on the ratio, pwede mo malaman yung concentration nila. Pag 1:1, same lang yan. 1 yung coefficient nito, 1 yung coefficient niyan, 1 din yung coefficient niyan. So generally, lahat sila equal in concentration. Since ang gusto natin ay pH, we need to determine the H plus concentration. Ayan, nalaman na natin using stoich. So ipa-plug in na natin yan sa pH. Okay, so negative log H plus, paki-plug in yung 2 times 10 raised to negative 3. So the pH of the solution will be negative log 2 times 10 negative 3. So the pH of the solution will be 2.7. Okay, so ganun lang. Again, ano yung gagawin mo para masagutan tong problem na to? Identify first whether your acid is a strong or weak acid. Okay? Kapag strong acid, stoich na lang to determine H plus concentration. Pag weak acid, gamit ka ng ice table. Okay? So ayan, second problem. What is the pH of a 1.8 times 2 times 10 raised to negative 2 molar barium hydroxide solution. So, barium hydroxide yung ating salt. Is this an acid or a base? Obviously, base yan kasi may hydroxide eh. Question, is this a strong base or a weak base? Ang gagawin nyo, tingin kayo sa mga previous na nilista ko. Doon kasi natin pwede malaman kung strong yan or weak base. Punta tayo sa base. Ayan, barium hydroxide, weak, strong base siya. So since ito ay strong base, I can determine the concentrations using stoich. Okay? Pwede ko na lang i-stoich yung concentrations nila. So again, let's write the reaction here. Let us show the dissociation of the ions from barium hydroxide. So we will produce barium 2 plus and 2 moles of hydroxide anion. Paano naging 2 moles yon? Because we have a subscript kasi. Pag nag-dissociation reaction tayo, yung subscript nagiging coefficient. Okay. Kunwari, 2 yan, edi magiging 2 yung coefficient. Kunwari, ito, 3, edi 3 yung coefficient ng barium. Just kunwari lang. Okay. So, ganun ha. Pag dissociation, yung subscript nagiging coefficients. So, alamin natin yung concentration ng OH. So, we start with 1.8 times 10 raised to negative 2 concentration for barium hydroxide. Ano concentration ng barium? Ganun din. Bakit ganun din? Kasi 1:1 yung ratio nila. Paano ko nalamang 1:1? Tignan mo lang yung stoich. Okay, so yung coefficient nila. 1 dito, 1 doon. So, ibig sabihin kung ano amount niyan, yun din yung amount niya. How about OH? Ito times 2 ko pa. Bakit? Kasi 1:2 yung ratio nila. So, isang mole nito, 2 katumbas kay OH. So, ito times 2 ko pa yung concentration niya. Okay, so what's 1.8 times 10 raised to negative 2 times 2? That's equal to 0.036 molar. Again, be careful. Tignan nyo yung stoich. No? Depending on the ratio, you sometimes need to multiply the concentration pa. Okay, so ganun lang. Ngayon, what is the pH? We can solve for the pH using the OH. No? Alamin mo muna yung pOH. Kasi yun yung meron tayo eh. Negative log yan ng 0.036 molar. So the pH is 1.4. The pOH. Kunin mo yung pH, that's 14 minus pOH. So that will be 14 minus 1.4. It's equals to 12.6. So, ganun lang. Or, pwede rin naman from the concentration of OH, kunin mo yung concentration ng H plus using KW. Then, once you have the concentration of H plus, gawin mong pH yun. You will still end up with this answer. Okay, so again, maraming ways to answer this problem. Okay, your call na lang kung ano gagamitin nyo. Kasi pag ako, naglagay ako ng answer sa worksheet, no? Iba-iba yung style ko kada problem. Para, para masanay kayo na maraming ways to answer the problem. Okay, so yan. Itong examples natin, strong acid and strong base to. We can determine the concentration of H plus and OH using stoich. What if kapag weak yan, weak acid, weak base, kailangan natin mag-ice table or gumamit ng equilibrium. Okay? So, suppose we have a weak acid, HA. Pag nakakita kayo ng HA sa problem, weak acid agad yun. Kasi yun yung ginagamit naming dummy variable. Okay? So, suppose we have a weak acid, HA. It will ionize according to the reaction shown above. So we have HA in equilibrium with H plus and A minus. If you get the equilibrium constant, that's equal to the concentration of H plus times A minus sa numerator, kasi nasa product side siya, and yung nasa denominator, yun yung HA aqueous, yung original substance mo. Okay? And using ice table, you can calculate for the concentration of H plus. No? So here are some of the Ka values of different acids. No? Huwag nyo kakabisaduhin to. I-save nyo lang yung table na to. Okay? So hindi yan kinakabisado. So for different molecules, may corresponding Ka. Tignan nyo yung ibang molecules, organic molecules yon, such as aspirin, formic acid, ascorbic acid, benzoic acid, acetic acid, phenol. Yun yung mga organic molecules na weak acids. Okay. For the base naman, for weak bases, this is one of the example. Ganun pa rin. Susulat mo lang yung equilibrium expression. Then you will determine the concentration of OH. By the way, ang tawag natin sa equilibrium constant for acid is Ka. Okay? So, marami na tayong versions ng K, no? Sa lecture nyo, may Kc, may Kp, yung Kc concentration, yung Kp in terms of pressure. Sa lab, meron na tayong Kw, kay water, Ka, kay acid, and then later on, Kb, kay base. No? Equilibrium constant ni acid, base, and water. Okay, so ang daming versions ng K, no? So, gana. Again, Ka is the equilibrium constant for acid. Kb is the equilibrium constant for the base. The way you write K is the same pa rin naman. No? Pare-pares pa rin yan ng way sa pag-write ng K. So here are some of the Kb values for the bases. Ito yung kanilang equilibrium values. Okay. So how do we solve for the equilibrium concentrations? Sabi ko nga sa inyo, gamit kayo ng ice table. Sometimes tawag dyan ay rice table. Reaction, initial, change, equilibrium. But for me, nasanay kasi akong ice table yan. So I will call it ice table. So ganun lang. So I know, alam nyo naman kung paano na gumamit ng ice table. Pero recall uli natin. So gagawin mo, you identify which of the species are ought to be written in the equilibrium constant. Usually, yun yung mga aqueous pati gaseous phase. Sila yung sinusulat sa equilibrium constant. Then you will create the ice table, initial, change, equilibrium amounts. Then you will track the changes using unknown variable x. No? By x kasi, hindi mo alam kung ganun karami yung mababawas or madadagdagan during the reaction. Okay? Then you write the Ka, then you substitute your equilibrium values with x variable, then you will solve for x. Then lastly, once you are able to solve for the x, you calculate the equilibrium amounts. Okay? So for our discussion today, isa lang muna sasagutan ko. By Thursday, magsawa kayo sa problems. Ang dami tayong sasagutan. Okay? So let us try to answer this problem. Sa ngayon, isa lang muna pero marami pa yan sa susunod. Magsasawa kayo. Okay? Sagutan muna natin to. So sabi dyan, in order for us to solve for the equilibrium concentration, let us track all the changes using ICE table. So let's answer this problem. Calculate the equilibrium hydronium ion concentration from 1.2 molar nitrous acid. HNO2 plus H2O in equilibrium with H3O and NO2 minus. So gagawin mo, basahin muna natin uli problem. Okay, basahin muna uli. Ang hinahanap ay hydronium ion concentration. 1.2 molar yan. Tapos nitrous acid. So, ganito. Alamin mo muna kung weak acid ba talaga yan. Nitrous acid. Hanapin mo. Tignan mo yung table ng Ka. Pag may Ka values yan, weak acid yan. So, yan. Nakita natin. Ka is equal to that. So, ibig sabihin, weak acid yan. Why do you have to confirm? Kasi baka mamaya nag-ice table ka, tapos strong acid naman pala yan, no? Sayang lang ink mo, no? Pag nagsosolve ka. So, mas maganda, i-double check mo kung yan ay weak acid or weak base. Paano mo malalaman kapag weak acid or weak base? May Ka or may Kb value siya. Okay? So, yun. Usually, ibibigay naman yun. Pero kapag hindi binigay, paki-double check. Okay? May listahan naman tayo dito kanina. Ayan. Check nyo na lang dyan kung andyan siya. Okay? So, yan. So, since na-confirm natin, this is a weak acid, gawin na natin yung ice table. Tinype ko na yung ice table. So, initial concentration, change in concentration, and equilibrium concentration. Dito sa ice table, isusulat ko yung mga species na dapat ko lang isulat. Ano yon? Yung mga aqueous or gaseous. Yung liquids and solids, hindi ko siya isusulat. Okay? Huwag ko isusulat yan. Lagay ko na yung aqueous. For the reactant, I have HNO2. And that will be in equilibrium with H3O plus and NO2 minus. Okay? Ayan, mga aqueous lang nilagay ko. Yung mga solid liquid, wag isusulat. Ayan, tapos na tayo sa reaction row. Next row tayo. Change. Sa change, ano sabi sa lecture nyo? So, sa change, maglalagay kayo ng X, unknown variable. Okay? So, wala pa pala tayo sa initial, sorry. So, lagay natin yung initial amounts. Sabi sa problem, we have 1.2 nitrous acid. So, yan. Paano yung H3O pati NO2 minus? Paano yon? Ganito lang yan. Pag walang sinabi, 0. Okay? Pag walang sinabi, 0 agad yan. Okay? So, ganun lang. Yun na yun. Ayan. So, tapos na tayo sa initial. Ngayon, punta na tayo sa change. Sabi dyan, sabi sa lecture nyo, so change, pwedeng positive or negative yung change depending on the direction of your reaction. How do you predict the direction of the reaction ba? You compare the Q with the K. You compare the reaction quotient with the equilibrium constant. The equilibrium constant is already given. Alamin natin yung Q. So using the reaction above, Q can be written as the concentration of H3O plus, concentration of nitrite ion, all divided by the concentration of nitrous acid initially. So, gagawin mo kung ano yung initial amounts mo dito, ipa-plug in mo yun doon. 0 times 0 divided by 1.2, that's all equal to 0. Since Q is less than the K, the reaction will go towards product. Okay? No, di ba ganun? Kapag Q is less than the K, the reaction will proceed towards the product. Paano ko isusulat yun sa ICE table? Ang ganito lang. Since the reaction is going to the product side, positive yung change sa positive yung change sa product side. Kasi sila yung madadagdagan, dun pupunta yung reaction eh. And for the reactant side, that will be negative change. Okay? By how much yung magbabago? By X. I don't know eh. Kung gaano kalaki yung change. So, maglalagay ako ng X. Okay? So, ganun. Again, for the change row, identify mo muna where the reaction is going. You can use the reaction quotient. Kapag towards product yan, positive yung change kay X sa product, negative X kapag reactant. What if yung reaction papunta sa reactant side yan, edi positive yung sa reactant, negative sa products. Okay? So, ganun. Pag papuntang reactant yung reaction, papuntang left, ito magiging positive. Ito magiging negative. Okay? But in our case here, sa ating example, papuntang right tayo, so positive sa product, negative sa reactant. Okay? So another way to simplify this para hindi ka na mag-solve ng reaction quotient is ganito. Tignan mo kung nasan yung 0. Ayun yung isa pang shortcut. Hanapin mo asan yung 0. Kapag nasa right side yung 0, yung reaction papunta sa right side. So positive yung X sa right side. Pag yung 0 mo nasa reactant side, papuntang left yung reaction. Positive sa left side yung change. Okay? So yun lang. Also, huwag nyo kakalimutan to, if you have a coefficient, you have to introduce it sa change. O kunwari, 2 moles ng NO2 minus yan, edi lagay mo positive 2x. So yung mga coefficients, you have to place it sa change. Kunwari, ito may 3. Lagay mo 3. Kunwari, ito 2. Edi lagay mo 2. Bakit? Kasi we still follow stoichiometry. We follow the law of conservation of mass. Okay? So, nasa law of conservation of mass tayo. Stoic pa rin to, kaya kailangan isama yung coefficients. Okay? And so, tapos na ako. Initial, nakuha ko na. Pag hindi sinabi, 0. Change, alamin ko saan papunta yung reaction. Kung nasan yung 0, dun pupunta yung reaction. Lastly, equilibrium, gagawin ko. Ipag-add ko lang yung I pati yung C. So, what's 1.2 minus X? So, that will be 1.2 minus X. 0 plus X is X, and ganun din sa kabila. Okay? So, I now have my equilibrium expressions. After nun, I will write the equilibrium constant, K. That's concentration of H3O plus times nitrite ion divided by HNO3. HNO2 rather. So, ano gagawin ko? O, yung Ka value, lalagay ko na dito. Ka value, lalagay ko na dyan. And yung equilibrium expressions ko dito, itong tatlong to, ipa-plug in ko yon dito sa equilibrium expression. Let me plug it in. Teka lang. 7.1 times 10 raised to negative 4 equals ang concentration ng H3O, X, di ba? Ano concentration ng NO2? X ulit. How about HNO2? That's 1.2 minus X. Once na nalagay mo na yung mga expressions, sir, 4 times 10 raised to negative 5 po, value ng Ka sa table. Check ko nga. Kinopya ko lang kasi itong PowerPoint eh. Oo nga, no? 4.5 times 10 raised to negative 4. Ayan, so thank you. Siguro nagkamali lang yung kinopyahan ko kasi mali din ako eh. Ayan. Kinopya ko lang yung PowerPoint na luma eh. Ayan, so thank you. So that's 4.5 times 10 raised to negative 4. Okay, so lagay natin dito 4.5. Yun yung error, yun yung mali kapag nagkokopyahan. Pag kami instructor, okay lang kasi PowerPoint lang kinokopya namin. Pag kayo, hindi pwede, di ba? Ayan, so 4.5 times 10 raised to negative 4. Okay, so thank you, Manuel, Eman. Okay. Palitan na natin yung KA, that's 4.5 times 10 raised to negative 4. 4.5. Okay, so yan. So yan, the next thing na gagawin natin is to solve for the value of x, no? And expect na it will sometimes involve the use of quadratic equations, okay? So we need to do quadratic equations. Simplify natin, numerator, x squared, okay? So that will be x squared divided by 1.2 minus x. We cross multiply this to the other side. So we will get x squared equals 4.5 times 10 raised to negative 4 times 1.2 minus x. Ano susunod? Distribute. Distribute. So that will be x squared equals 4.5 times 10 raised to negative 4 times 1.2. That's 5.4 times 10 raised to negative 4 minus 4.5 times 10 raised to negative 4x. Tapos ano susunod? You pattern this equation sa quadratic equation. Kasi x squared yung highest degree mo eh. Ayusin mo yung degrees mo. Paano yon? Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Ay, ipapattern natin dyan. Okay, highest degree first, then pababa. Equal to 0. Okay, so I have the x squared. Lilipat ko sa other side yung 4.5 times 10 raised to negative 4x. So lipat ko sa left side. So magpapalit yun ng sign from negative magiging positive. Then yung c, lilipat ko rin sa other side. So magsuswitch din siya ng sign. Equal to 0. Then what's next? Identify mo yung A, B, and C. The coefficient of x squared, x, and the coefficient lang. Okay? So alamin mo yung coefficients natin. So what is the value of A? Yun yung coefficient ng x squared, which is 1. What's the value of B? Yung coefficient ng x, which is 4.5 times 10 raised to negative 4. The coefficient of C is kasama yung negative sign. Huwag nyo kalimutan negative sign ha. Baka makalimutan nyo, hindi nyo masasagot yan ng tama. Worst is yung may imaginary number kayo na sagot, no? So, yan. So, yan. So, nalaman na natin yung A, B, and C. Then, the next thing to do is to plug it into our quadratic equation. X is equals to negative B plus minus square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Diba? Maghirap kayo dyan sa quadratic equation na yan, no? Okay. So, ipa-plug in mo yan isa-isa. Okay. So, yung B, lalagay mo dito. Yung A, yung C, mo multiply mo doon. Then yan. So, I actually have some examples na plinag in ko yung numbers sa X. Pakicheck nyo yung lecture, chapter 3, part 2. Yung dun sa post ko sa announcement. Yan. May nilagay akong solution na plinag in ko yung A, B, and C. Okay, that is kung magmamanual kayo. Kung gusto nyo ng calculator technique, I already uploaded a video last time no? Last week ata yon. So, nag-upload ako ng video showing how to use calculators to solve for quadratic equations. Okay? So, may pipindutin ka lang dito. Ibibigay ninyo yung sagot agad. But if your calculator isn't capable of doing that, then mag-manual ka muna. Pero, kapag magko-quiz kayo, ganito. Pag magko-quiz na kayo, sa akin, pag quiz lang sa akin, no, syempre matagal kayo matagal kayo mag quadratic equation. Maski ako naman pag iisa-isahin ko yun, no, medyo matagal. So, pwede naman gumamit ng Symbolab, no. So, ito yung website na ginagamit ko. Kapag, kunwari, I don't have my calculator with me, dito ko itatype yung equation. Kunwari, that's, ano yan? X square plus 4.5 times 10 of x squared plus 4.5 times 10 raised to negative 4 x minus 5.4 times 10 raised to negative 4 equals 0. Layo kasi yung second monitor ko eh. Ayan, i-enter ko na lang dyan kapag wala akong calcu. Pa-plug in ko na lang dyan. Ayan, makukuha mo na yung value ng inyong x na. Okay? So, again, bago kayo dumiretso dito, gawin nyo muna yung quadratic, ha? So, maganda pa rin talaga yung alam mo yung basics bago ka mag-shortcut. Okay? Ganon kasi talaga yung dapat na ginagawa natin as students, no? Alamin mo muna yung basic bago ka mag-shortcut. Kasi mamaya, kapag tinanong ka ng basic, di mo nasagot. Sayang, di ba? O, kailangan alam mo muna yung quadratic equation, tapos kung paano mag-plug in. Pag alam nyo na, pwede na kayo mag-shortcut, pwede na kayo mag-calculator. Okay? Or yung Symbolab, no? Yun yung ginagamit ko dati pa. So, yan. So, pag plinagin mo yan, you will get 2x values. Bakit dalawa yung x value na makukuha ko? Kasi, I have this positive negative sign here, plus minus. Yung isang x value, makukuha ko yon when this is positive. Yung isang x ko, makukuha ko yon when this one is negative. Okay? So, dalawa yung makukuha mong values because of the plus minus symbol. And also, sabi din ng algebra, the highest degree of a polynomial corresponds to the number of roots or number of solution. Now, kunwari, x raised to 5 yung polynomial mo. That means you have 5 solutions. X raised to 2 yan. So that means you have 2 solutions. Pag x raised to 3 yan, you have 3 solutions. Okay? So since our polynomial has the highest degree equal to 2, dalawang roots makukuha natin dyan. Pakisolve na yung x values natin. Gagawin ko calculator technique. So sumabay na lang kayo. 1, 4.5 times 10 raised to negative 4, negative 5.4 times 10 raised to... Okay, so nakuha ko na yung value. Diba? Ang bilis. So the x1, the first root is equal to 0.023. Yan yung x value ko na una. Then the second value is negative 0.023. Yan. So, nakuha ko na yung dalawang x values. Paki-algebra na lang yan. Or paki-Symbolab na lang. Check ko nga. Ano yung sagot sa Symbolab. Ayun din. 0.023. Negative 0.023. Okay? So, ganun lang. So, yan. Dalawa yung roots mo. Ano gagamitin mo? Isa lang. So, isa lang pipiliin mo dyan. Ano yung criteria para malaman mo sino yung gagamitin mo? Dalawa lang yan. Number 1, your x must be positive. No? Yung root na pipiliin mo is the positive root. Huwag yung negative. Okay? So, that means itong x2 ko ay x na. Hindi ko na siya gagamitin kasi negative root yan eh. Pangalawa, what if parehas yan na positive root? Ganito. Kapag parehas yan ng positive root, you will choose the x value that is less than the initial concentration. Kunwari, ito, 1.2. Tapos ang nakuha mong isang x ay 1.5 positive. Pag plinagin mo yun dito, yung 1.5, what will happen to the equilibrium concentration of nitrous acid? Magiging negative. Does that make sense? Hindi. Kasi there is no such thing as negative concentration. Hanggang zero lang yung concentration. Hindi siya pwede maging negative. Okay? So that's why, kapag dalawa yung positive root mo, you choose the x value that is less than the initial concentration. Kasi baka mamaya, pag pinag-subtract mo yan, negative lumabas. Mali yon. Okay? So, ganun ha. Pag dalawang positive, yung less than the initial concentration ang kukunin. Bawal kasi maging negative yung concentration. Okay? So, ganun lang. So, that means we will choose 0.023 as our x. Paki-plug in yan sa ice table natin. So, at equilibrium, this is our answer na. At equilibrium, the concentration of nitrous acid is 1.2 minus 0.023. So that is 1.177 molar. Yan na yung concentration ng nitrous acid. How about hydronium ion? Edi 0.023 and same as for nitrite ion. So yan ang kanilang equilibrium concentrations. Kunwari, tanong, what is the pH? Hanapin yung pH. pH is just the negative log of the hydronium ion concentration. Ito yung H plus concentration natin, 0.023. Paki-plug in na lang. pH of the solution will be 1.64. Ganun lang. Diba? Easy lang. May idadali pa yan, which will be discussed next meeting. Pero bigyan ko na kayo ng idea. Ano yung matagal dito sa step natin na to? Yung algebra, especially yung quadratic equation. Lalo na kung wala kang calcu, no? O kaya, wala kang calcu, tapos wala ka rin browser. No? Kunwari lang. No? Kunwari ganun yung case, edi ibig sabihin magmamanual ka na quadratic equation. Di ba nakakapagod ang daming sinasolve? Ganito, may shortcut dito. Di-discuss ko to next week in depth. Ito yung idea. Actually, pwede gawin mo dito ay tanggalin mo yung quadratic equation. Okay? By using the small x approximation. Okay? So instead of doing quadratic equation, gagawin mo na lang ay yung square root of tsaka. Square root of tsaka tawag namin dito. So to get the concentration of H+, the formula will now be square root of tsaka. The concentration of the acid times the acid ionization constant. Tsaka. Okay. So, kukunin mo lang square root ng tsaka, you get the answer na. Tapos na. Okay. So, paano yon? So, yan. Ito yung mga next slide doon. Ito yung small x approximation. Discuss ko na lang next meeting, ha? Pero for now, practice muna kayo ng equilibrium. Tapos next meeting, mag-shortcut na tayo para mabilis. Kasi imagine nyo, no, every time na may ganitong problem, mag-aano kayo, magka-quadratic equation. Kawawa naman kayo, di ba? May shortcut ako yung tuturo next time. Okay? So, ganun na lang. Okay, so for now, paki-refresh na lang uli yung mga equilibrium topics nyo sa lecture kasi gagamitin natin siya. So, by next meeting, ang i-cover natin ay ito. Na-cover natin lahat ng kailangan i-cover today. So, next meeting, we will proceed with the continuation sa technique. diprotic and triprotic, and buffer solutions. No? So, yun yung i-cover natin. Pagkabisado nyo na yung equilibrium, kahit di nyo nabasahin to in advance. No? Basta alam nyo yung equilibrium, pasado na kayo agad dito. Okay? Especially yung technique na ituturo ka. Okay, so that will be all for today. Almost 2 hours din yung session natin. So I'll see you again on Thursday. No? So papansin nyo, hindi ko sinasagad yung class hours natin parati kasi alam ko medyo new pa yung ideas na to, kaya pag sinagad ko yung hours natin, baka mamaya lutang na kayo na kawawa naman tayo. So para may time pa kayo mag-absorb. No? So after this session, pwede i-recall nyo uli yung mga pinagsasabi ko. Sagot uli kayo ng items. No? So that by next meeting, prepared na talaga tayo uli for another set of calculation. Okay? So I'll see you again on Thursday. Again, yung solution for the quiz 3, hindi ko pa siya tapos i-type. Ang haba eh. So madami-dami pa yun eh. So, yan. By next week, I will also upload additional worksheet with answers for this chapter, and hopefully makatulong yan in preparation for your midterm exam. No? So if we will accomplish this lesson by Monday next week, siguro hindi na tayo magmi-meet by Thursday next week. No? And makikita na lang tayo sa 4th week ng March. No? Sa start ng finals period natin. Okay? So March 22 yan for the consultation. Okay? Will be all for our session today. So I hope na naintindihan naman, no? So if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask me, ha? So yun. By the way, yung adjustment ng grades, scores sa quiz, ako na bahala doon, no? Before the release ng midterm grade, ako na mag-a-adjust doon. Kailan po ang quiz regarding this topic? So, to be honest with you, dalawa yung quiz dito. Dalawang quiz meron kayo dito. Okay? So, yung dalawang quiz na yon, I will open them next week. Okay? Para inline na rin siya with your review. Okay? So, ganun mangyayari sa atin. So, part 1, part 2 yung quiz dito. And separate yung scores na yun, ha? Hindi silang combined. So, ano yung coverage ng part 1, part 2 quiz next week? No? Ganito lang. Nasaan ba yun? Hindi nyo pala nakikita yung monitor, no? Share ko yung screen. So again, yung quiz nyo, 2 parts yan. Mag-start yan next week. Open ko yan. Monday to Wednesday. March 8 to 10. Doon yung first part ng quiz. Then the second part will be March 11 to March 13. Okay. So yan. So all in all, you have 5 quizzes na for the midterm period. So pakita ko na sa inyo yung coverage. Ito yung coverage natin. For the part 1, ito yung cover niya. Okay. And some of this now. Okay, so yan yung coverage ng part 1. So ito, until this part, okay, so ilan topics dito. And then for the next part, ayan, yung ilang bahagi din ng equilibrium calculation and the rest. No? Okay. So 2 parts yan. Yung first part, part 1, would be on March. That will be March 8 to 11. March 8 to 10 pala, sorry. And then for the second part, that will be March 11 to 13. So 3 full days yan. Kasi papansin nyo, ginagawa kong 4 days yung ating quiz eh. Okay. Pero for this time, 3 full days na lang. Okay. And so good luck na. Magbibigay din ako ng additional worksheets. So be ready. By weekend ko na siya i-upload na. Okay. Lang. Ano pa ba mga announcement ko? Ayan, yun lang. Yun na lang naman yung last activity nyo before the midterm exam. Okay, so good luck na. So I'll see you again on Thursday. Any questions pa pala from the class? Any questions from the class? Or okay na tayo? Siguro okay na tayo, no? So again, a copy of the video will be uploaded, if not tonight, bukas ng gabi, no? So I'll see you again on Thursday. So stay safe as always and bye-bye. Ingat po.